What's going on YouTube? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update today of Bitcoin. Right now we're sitting at 23,297. But before we get into any of that, I want to go through a little article here. And this is by William Suburb. It's by cointelegraph.com. And what I want to point out here says Bitcoin price rises 5% after US Congress passes 900 billion ad for Bitcoin. And what I want to point out here, guys, I mean, this is something that just drives me absolutely insane. People going crazy for a $600 stimulus check. I mean, so many people, and I just want to speak honestly here. I wish I could open up more, but obviously, you know, the restrictions on this platform. But, you know, so many people are losing livelihoods and everything, and then you're going to give $600 once every, 6 months or whatever. And people lose their mind over that. And I think this is a great representation of why Bitcoin is amazing, because you're never going to see Bitcoin giving stimulus Bitcoin. I mean, it's just not going to happen. And what you see is the purchasing power of the dollar is just getting crushed year after year after year. It's losing more and more power. And with Bitcoin, it's deflationary. It's only going to gain against the US dollar. It's only going to gain because with the US dollar, there's nothing backing it. It's a big smoke screen. They just print and print. Okay, let's print $600 for each person. What the hell does it matter? Excuse my language, but what's it matter? And I think that's where society, this zombie herd mentality, and I just wish I could go so much more into it, but I can't. But, with Bitcoin, this deflationary aspect and the power behind it to mine, that's what makes it valuable. There's nothing that makes the US dollar valuable. Once it got taken off the gold standard, that was it. And look at our national debt here in America. So, I just want to get into that a little bit here. But, this goes on to talk about how Bitcoin's price can rise due to the fact that the stimulus checks are coming out, not just the fact that people can buy Bitcoin with it, but it just shows more that we need a deflationary asset out there. And Bitcoin is that. And I also believe in, and this is just my opinion on things, I also think you should be well diversified. Land's a great thing as well. There's only so much land. I think gold and silver, that type of asset is great as well. And then I also think the digital currency, cryptocurrency is great. You want things that are going to go up in value over time. You don't want the things that, you buy a brand new car and you lose how much as soon as you drive it off the lot, depending on the car. You can lose $5,000-$10,000 if you went to try to sell it back the next day. So I don't like things like that. And just to give you guys a heads up, I drive a car that has 330,000 miles on a 2002 Ford Explorer, because I don't want to waste money on those things. When people say Lamborghinis and all that, I think that's some of the biggest waste of money that you can do. Put your money into things that can build wealth over time and help as many people as you can with that wealth. That's my opinion. That's my take on it. So, for this article, that's basically all it talks about here. I just want to be able to open with that, Bitcoin price rises 5% after U.S. Congress passes 9 billion. It's outrageous. and if you feel the same way and you agree, guys, let me know. Next, I want to get into some technical analysis. Something I wanted to point out here, this was very similar to a formation that Link had on the 1-day time frame. There was these 3 wicks up top. It almost looks like a crown, and then we had a pretty decent sell-off after that. I'm not saying that that's the case here. I just want you to be aware of those things. That's what I like to do. I like to basically have a plan to the upside, have a plan to the downside. Even if Bitcoin goes sideways, what am I going to do? So plan for that as well. If this is a local top at 24,294, this has been an amazing rip here, guys. We can't complain about things like that. But the main area I would look at today to see the importance of these wicks would be the candle close for today. So if we can close back up above yesterday at roughly around 23,501, if we can get up above that area, that could give us a shot to then go up there and try to test that 25,000. But in my opinion, we need to hold 22,324 before that happens. And this is where people, depending on how you play different things, if you're a bull here and you don't have any Bitcoin, you're saying, okay, I want to jump in on this. The safest way to do that, in my opinion, not financial advice, I would wait to see this daily candle close, make sure it's up above like we talked about, that 23,456, and then I would put a stop loss below it, probably 22,200, right in that range. Because if you're anticipating this to move and this is our support down here at 22,323, then we should continue on here and have a higher high, right? And if we don't, then you're just going to get stopped out and you'll look for the next area. Now, we want to be aware that the RSI is at 70 right now. Typically, we can get up into the 90s, and sometimes that's when Bitcoin really takes off. It will stay between like 65 and that 85, and that's where some of the biggest moves are. So I want to point out that we're at 70 right now, but that could show that we've cooled off enough. We want to be cautious that it's up above 70, but we also need to be aware that this is Bitcoin, and when it wants to rip hard, it's going to rip hard and very aggressively. Okay. Now, we're still up above our 20 EMA, our 50, our 100, and our 200. Longer term investor, not financial advice, of course, just let this rip. When you see those big dips, those retracements, that's when you want to buy, when we're in this uptrend, when we're in a bull market. And you just keep adding and adding and adding until we have a definitive top, when Bitcoin is topped out. And in my opinion, we're nowhere near that for the macro sense. In the shorter term, be cautious of that 22,324. If we lose that, we may go back down to 19,710 and test the area that we broke out through our all-time high. That would still be very healthy to come back down in this area. So I'm watching the volume as we're trying to get up today, right? We want to see that volume, see if it's coming on buying pressure. If we get into the technicals, we are looking at 2 sell, 9 neutral, 17 buy, oscillators 1 sell, 8 neutral, 2 buy, moving averages 1 sell, 1 neutral, and a 15 buy. That's what I wanted to bring to you today, guys. Just want to make it quick and get those points out. God bless each and every one of you. I hope you have an amazing day. Take care, my friends.